Okay, welcome to the deep dive. So you sent over this really interesting pile of sources, news, reports, all sorts of things tracking just the absolute frenzy in AI right now. It feels like every day there's like a dozen huge announcements, doesn't it?
It really does. I mean, the
Wow.
speed, the sheer volume of stuff coming out in AI,
Yeah.
it's incredible. Looking through what you shared, you've got the big tech players making massive moves. You've got really specific industry uses popping up. And then alongside that, this growing awareness of some pretty serious global risks. Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
It is. It really is. And that's kind of the point of this deep dive, right? Our mission today is to try and, cut through all that noise from these sources, pull out the key bits of info, and connect the dots so you can see what actually matters most for you in this whole constantly changing picture. Let's get into it.
Yeah, and what's fascinating when you look at this material is how you have this, like, fundamental tech advancing so fast at the same time as everyone's rushing to apply it everywhere. It's like a two-track race. Build better AI and figure out where on earth to use it.
You definitely see that with the core models and the hardware updates. Like the sources mentioned Google's upgraded Gemini 2.5 Pro. They're claiming, big improvements in understanding language, recognizing images,
Right.
promising it's faster, safer, more robust experiences. And interestingly, they're really highlighting Google's focus on ethical practices right there alongside the power boost.
That combo, the performance claims and the ethical nod, that's a theme we're seeing pop up more, I think. And speaking of performance, wow, the sources point to NVIDIA's Blackwell GPUs just absolutely crushing the latest ML perf training
They're
benchmark.
crushing it.
Yeah, and it's not just about setting records. It really shows the kind of scale and power available now for training these huge models. But the material also knows how important energy efficiency is becoming in getting that performance. It's not just raw power anymore.
Right, exactly. It's power, but also like efficient power. And the race isn't only about faster chips or bigger models, is it? It's also about finding better ways to measure how these things actually perform in the real world, especially for businesses. We saw that news about Salesforce AI launching the CR Marina Pro benchmark.
Ah, yes.
Apparently, that's the first enterprise-level standard specifically for evaluating AI agents. AI is designed to actually do stuff, manage complicated back-and-forth tasks, not just spit out an answer to one question.
Exactly. It's moving past just evaluating simple chatbots to looking at, like, can this AI actually work reliably inside a messy business process? And, while some AI is getting more complex, other tools are trying to make everyday things simpler. The sources mention Hugging Face debuting Sheets.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. The tool that lets you build spreadsheets just by typing what you want.
That's the one. According to the sources, the whole idea is speed and making it accessible. Basically trying to compete with things like Excel or Google Sheets by making complex data stuff easier for anyone to do.
That accessibility and proving it actually works in the real world seems to be driving some massive growth for certain companies. I mean, the OpenAI numbers in this material are kind of staggering.
Yeah.
Apparently, they've tripled their paying business subscribers just since last year, up to 3 million now. And this blew my mind. The note says something like 10% of the entire global population is now using OpenAI tools somehow.
Wow. That scale is just phenomenal. And when you look at what's driving the business side, the sources point to things like the connectors letting businesses hook ChatGPT into their own systems, plus tools for like summarizing meetings, making custom connections. It's making ChatGPT less of a novelty and more, embedded in how companies actually run.
It's fascinating, though, seeing that kind of explosive growth happening while there's also some really complicated stuff going on at the top, right? Like the sources touch on that whole Microsoft and OpenAI relationship. Their partnership is solid, extended to 2030. Microsoft's weaving OpenAI tech into everything. But the material also points out Microsoft is building and releasing its own AI models that compete, and they're doing restructuring, layoffs. It's this weird mix of being super close partners and also kind of direct competitors.
Yeah, that tension, you can definitely feel it across the industry. And that competition gets really intense in high-stakes areas like government. You've got Anthropic with their Claude Gov going head-to-head with OpenAI's ChatGPT Gov. It's a race to land contracts for these specialized, super secure AI tools for sensitive U.S. government stuff, like defense, intelligence, areas needing top-level security.
And while the huge models in the cloud get a lot of headlines, these sources also show AI moving out to the edge. NVIDIA released a lightweight large language model specifically for, edge devices.
Right, smaller devices.
Yeah, which is important because it means AI can run locally on things, factory gear, medical equipment, sensors, whatever, giving you real-time results better privacy because the data stays put, and less need for constant cloud connection. That's huge for industries like manufacturing or healthcare that need analysis right now on site.
Absolutely. That move to the edge is crucial for some applications where, speed and data control are paramount. And speaking of real-world uses, these sources really show AI becoming, well, almost commonplace, showing up in places you wouldn't have thought of even a year or two back.
It's everywhere. Like in retail, the sources mention Lowe's using OpenAI voice assistants in stores to help customers find things.
Yeah.
And Samsung's got this deal with Glance AI for a generative AI shopping app on their phones. Apparently, you can use your camera to see how clothes would actually look on you right from the lock screen.
That's pretty wild. Yeah. What's striking is how AI is getting baked right into the customer experience in these really tangible ways. Then, in marketing, there's WPP Media launching Open Intelligence. It's an AI platform using global consumer data to predict behavior, target ads better.
Oh.
But the key thing, the source is highlighted. It does this without using traditional identifiers.
Ah, yeah, the move away from cookies and stuff.
Exactly. It signals a potential big shift, probably driven by all the privacy changes.
That privacy angle is definitely a major trend. And sometimes companies are just deciding to build this stuff themselves instead of buying it, like Klarna, the payments company.
Right.
According to the material, they ditched Salesforce to build their own custom AI. They're claiming it saves them $2 million a year, and they see it as like taking back control, which makes sense in fintech where data is so sensitive.
Yeah, that kind of independence can save money and maybe let them tailor it better, like Klarna says. Meta is also leaning heavily into AI for its main business, right? Rolling out advanced AI ad tools, putting international ads on Threads now, too.
And even industries you think of as purely creative, like TV production. AMC Networks is working with an AI startup, Runway, to speed up their marketing and even special effects work. So AI is moving into those creative workflows, even with all the debate about jobs.
It's definitely a complex picture in creative fields. We're also seeing big regional pushes. Thailand's working with Korea's Naver and a local company, Siam.AI, to build a large language model specifically for Thai, plus a tourism assistant. It shows this growing trend towards, tech that fits local needs, local languages, digital sovereignty, making sure AI isn't just dominated by a few players.
Yeah, that local tailoring is so important if AI is going to be truly global. And OpenAI itself seems to be investing heavily in specific regions. They're setting up new data centers in India, launching the OpenAI Academy, their first international education partnership, apparently.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, the goal seems to be boosting local AI skills, driving innovation in India, helping position it as a major AI hub.
That kind of investment in talent and infrastructure, that's crucial for building up global AI capacity.
Right.
And on a slightly different note about national strategy, there's this Shanghai company, Univista Industrial Software Group.
Okay.
They released free homegrown tools for designing electronics. The sources basically frame this as China trying to counter U.S. restrictions, boost their own independence in semiconductor design, which is obviously super critical.
Right. So geopolitics is definitely playing a big role in shaping all this. Back in the corporate world, Microsoft made a big leadership change, putting the LinkedIn CEO, Ryan Roslansky, in charge of their AI efforts and the Office division.
Oh, interesting move.
Yeah, it really signals they want to embed AI even deeper into like Word, Excel, Teams, all that core productivity stuff.
Makes sense. A unified strategy to weave AI into how people actually work with their tools.
Oh.
And speaking of changing how we work, Google's got that upcoming Gmail update using DeepMind's Gemini.
The email response generator.
Yeah, but what sounds cool, according to the sources, is that it's supposed to learn your writing style.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and understand the context of the email chain to make the replies more efficient, but also sound like you.
That could actually be really useful for tackling the inbox. And Meta's sharing tools too, right? They open sourced an AI tool to automatically classify sensitive documents, apply security labels, try to stop data leaks. It's on GitHub for anyone.
Ah, it's valuable. That kind of open sourcing can help other organizations manage the risks that come with, having all this data alongside powerful AI models.
Switching gears a bit, maybe to specific sectors, healthcare is seeing some really big and honestly pretty exciting stuff happening.
Yeah, huge impact there. The FDA approved that AI tool from Clairity. It predicts breast cancer risk just from a standard mammogram.
Wow.
The sources emphasize the potential for catching it earlier, making detection more personal even if you don't have a family history. That's massive for preventative care.
Absolutely massive. And then Avicenna.AI got the CE mark approval in Europe for their algorithms that detect spine fractures.
Mhm.
CNAVCF Quantix and C-spine, I think they're called.
So these are getting cleared for actual use in European radiology. It shows AI really moving from research labs into clinics, helping doctors diagnose, making things more efficient.
And outside healthcare, AI is proving super valuable for tech folks too, like coders. ChatGPT apparently came out on top in recent developer tests as the best coding assistant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they valued it not just for writing code, but also for debugging help and collaboration features, ranking it above Claude and Gemini.
That's strong praise from actual developers using it day to day.
Mm.
And we're seeing just a flood of new AI productivity tools pop up. The sources mentioned Perplexity Labs turning prompts into interactive dashboards.
Uh-huh.
The FDA rolling out its internal tool, ELSA. For clinical work, though, we should maybe circle back to some issues there.
Okay.
And Google Labs launching Stitch for quick UI design. They're all aimed at making professional work faster, easier.
And then something totally different, but also kind of amazing, that AI voice app mentioned in the sources, the one that can change your accent in real time.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, think about the potential there for bridging communication gaps, making international calls smoother, just breaking down language barriers.
The implications are huge for business, for just connecting people.
Yeah.
And speaking of global impact, AI is apparently making a real difference for smallholder farmers in Africa, too.
How so?
The material says AI tools are helping them make better decisions about crops, manage their resources, get better access to markets, basically boosting their resilience and, economic prospects.
That's genuinely incredible, the sheer range of applications.
Mm-hmm.
But, and it's a big but, these sources also make it crystal clear that for every amazing step forward, there's a significant dark side, right?
Yeah.
The risks, the misuse, the challenges, they're growing just as fast.
Yeah, and it raises that critical question, doesn't it? Are we developing the safeguards, understanding the downsides, as quickly as we're developing the actual capabilities? I mean, OpenAI themselves reported this surge in covert operations using ChatGPT.
Right.
They specifically flagged Chinese actors using it for, social media manipulation and creating malware.
And it wasn't just them. The sources say OpenAI uncovered and shut down these coordinated campaigns linked not just to China, but also Russia, Iran, North Korea, Cambodia.
Wow.
Yeah, apparently using ChatGPT for spreading propaganda, surveillance, intelligence gathering. It just shows the real global risk of AI being used as a tool for information warfare.
And the experts quoted in the sources, they echo that. They're warning that AI is making cybersecurity threats way more sophisticated, harder to spot. They're urging companies to shift from just reacting to being proactive, using more unified security tools.
That proactive shift seems vital because the threats are getting so personal, too. Like the rise in AI-boosted social engineering scams, the sources mentioned.
Like deepfakes.
Exactly, and deepfakes and really convincing phishing scams designed to fool you. The call is for better tech defenses, sure, but also way more employee training because people are still the main target.
And it's not just the obvious fakes we need to worry about. Researchers are sounding the alarm about subtle AI deepfakes, tiny edits to images or videos that are almost impossible for humans or current AI detection tools to catch. There's this new data set, Multi-Fakeverse, mentioned in the sources that highlights how urgent the need is for better safeguards because these subtle fakes could become everywhere and really hard to spot.
Ugh. That idea of undetectable fakes is pretty creepy, and criminals are getting sneaky about how they deliver malware, too. The sources warn about ransomware disguised as fake AI tools like counterfeit ChatGPT software.
Oh, targeting businesses eager to adopt AI.
Exactly, especially small businesses that might jump on board quickly without double-checking security. It's just a stark reminder for companies to, tighten up their basic cybersecurity and really verify where their software comes from.
Yeah, preying on that enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And maybe lack of deep tech knowledge. There's another specific example of security challenges. North Korean IT workers apparently using ChatGPT to write super convincing resumes and cover letters.
To get jobs.
Yeah, the sources suggest they're using these AI-polished applications to land remote tech jobs overseas, potentially slipping past normal checks and creating security risks for the companies that hire them.
That's a wild way to bypass hiring filters. And another big challenge the sources highlight is this whole AI washing thing.
Yeah.
The big example was that London startup, Builder.ai. Apparently, it collapsed after it came out. They were using 700 human engineers while marketing themselves as being AI-driven.
Oof.
Yeah, big job losses. And it raises serious questions about honesty and, hype versus reality in AI marketing.
That definitely highlights the need for more transparency. And even inside big, established places, rolling out AI isn't always smooth. The FDA's internal AI tool, ELSA, built on Claude, apparently got pushback from their own employees.
Really? Why?
They cited things like the capabilities being overstated, technical problems, and not enough clear rules or regulation around its use. Some suggested it should maybe just stick to admin tasks for now. It just shows how complex it is to integrate AI, even within government agencies.
Right. Those internal hurdles are just as real as the external threats. And of course, with AI models eating up so much data, the whole intellectual property issue is heating up.
Definitely.
The sources mention Reddit suing Anthropic, saying they used Reddit data for model training without permission. This throws that whole debate about training data and ownership right into the legal arena.
Yeah, and that debate is probably only going to get louder as more models get trained on, well, everything scraped from the web. Though, on a slightly more positive transparency note, Anthropic did also release an open source tool for circuit tracing.
Right, the thing to help developers actually see how the language models are making decisions,
Yeah.
trying to peek inside the black box.
Exactly. So even while they're facing lawsuits about the input data, they're trying to offer more clarity about the model's internal process. It just shows how tricky this whole space is to navigate. And then looking at the bigger picture, the societal impact, especially on jobs.
Well, OpenAI's CEO, Sam Altman, he's famously said AI will likely take over many entry-level tasks. But what's interesting from the sources is this observation that younger workers, Gen Z especially, seem to see AI less as a threat and more as, like, a collaborator.
A partner in work.
Yeah, suggesting maybe a future where AI handles the routine stuff, freeing up people for more creative, complex, strategic thinking.
That mindset shift is pretty crucial for adapting, I think. And speaking of creativity and drama, Hollywood's definitely noticing the human stories behind AI. The sources mention a movie coming out called Artificial about Sam Altman's whole firing and rehiring saga at OpenAI.
Huh. It just shows the human power struggles and corporate drama are sometimes as compelling as the tech itself, right? So, okay, when you step back and look at everything in these sources, I mean, the incredible speed of the tech, the performance race, the sheer scale of adoption across literally every sector, healthcare diagnosing cancer, retail changing shopping, marketing predicting behavior, coding assistance helping farmers, it's just undeniable how fast and how deep AI is getting woven into our world.
Yeah, the speed and the breadth of it all right now, it's truly breathtaking. But like you said, running right alongside all that amazing potential is this significant and growing list of risks and challenges. We're seeing really sophisticated cyber threats, state-backed misinformation campaigns, tricky issues around trust, transparency, even outright scams like AI washing.
It's clear AI is fundamentally changing how we work, shop, talk to each other, even how we think about health. And for you listening, getting a handle on this means staying informed about both sides, the incredible upside and the serious growing dangers.
Precisely. These tools are becoming essential in more and more areas of life.
So maybe here's a thought to leave you with, something that really jumps out when you put all these developments together. As AI tools become totally indispensable for everything, helping doctors, making businesses run smoother, writing your emails, driving marketing, how do we make sure that the safeguards, the regulations, the methods to spot and stop misuse for scams, manipulation, cyber attacks, how do we ensure those are developed and adopted just as fast? The race isn't just about building smarter AI. It's maybe even more about building trust and security around it and doing that at the same crazy speed.
That's the critical challenge, isn't it? Something for all of us to think about.
Indeed. Okay, that wraps up this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.